Scott Kurji always knew that he would fight crime someday.
As a kid, I always wanted to do it, and I never let it go. Some people outgrow it, but I never outgrew the want to be a policeman.
He's been in law enforcement for 10 years, 3 of them in Baton Rouge.
If you're a public servant, you know it in your soul. You know it in your being.
The deputy is a member of SCAT, the Special Community Anti-Crime Team.
We try to interact with the community to figure out who the drug dealers are, who the people shooting guns are, and who needs to be taken off the streets.
He goes into the most dangerous neighborhoods in the city almost every day.
That area we just passed that I was looking down is a known crack house. If there's a lot of criminals hanging out on the corners, you're not going to see the kids playing in the streets. You're not going to see the parents outside.
The job is tough.
They had one on foot that was about to walk down Snipe.
Kurji works long shifts, mostly at night.
The fear kind of keeps you safe. It keeps your officer safety heightened. So yeah, we all get scared plenty.
And it's a constant battle to gain the residents' trust.
A lot of it's a culture. They were raised not to talk to police. It's really a big barrier to break down.
But he keeps at it.
We try to drive home the point, we're just people just like you. I have a neighborhood just like you have a neighborhood.
Reminding people in the neighborhoods he's there to help.
We're not out here to lock up all the people in the neighborhood. We're not here to ruin people's Christmas. We're here to try to get the criminal element out of the community so they can come onto the streets with their kids, so they can ride their bikes in peace and not have to worry about getting shot.
He and the SCAT team scour the streets for suspicious activity.
All right, I'm gonna set up on the other end of Somerset and see when they come out.
Cleaning up the area little by little.
As you disperse the criminal activity, the kids seem to come outside, and usually the parents will flag you down and thank you for being there.
No matter how difficult the job, Kurji wouldn't want to do anything else.
It's nice to make a difference in people's lives. Sometimes people will come out and say, hey, thanks, that guy needed to go to jail. And that's about as rewarding as it gets for us.
We talk about crime a lot in the news, and when the police need help solving cases, we tell you how to pitch in.
If you have any information,
call CrimeStoppers. Their number is
344-STOP.
And nearly 2,000 of you called in last year.
It never fails. After the news runs or the newspaper comes out with mentioning some major crime that is unsolved, we get tips on it.
You helped arrest 350 people for 370 felonies. In return, CrimeStoppers offers cash rewards. And everywhere Don Stone goes, he tells people that they will always remain anonymous.
But that's their biggest fear. Once you explain to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's. I don't want them to know that I called." Well, the only way that someone's going to know that you called the CrimeStoppers program is if you tell them.
So I went to its headquarters to find out what happens when you call in and what they do or don't see. I had never called CrimeStoppers before, so there was no way for them to have my phone number or know how to block it. And as you can see, nothing showed up on their caller ID.
We tell the people that when they call in here, I don't want my name put out. I don't know your name. I'm not going to ask you your name.
CrimeStoppers uses military-style encryption to hide your phone number, and they give you a code number to use instead of your name. They also take advantage of international laws to keep you hidden.
We use this call center in Canada just in case someone chose to subpoena our records or something like that. It is a felony offense in Canada to release that type of information.
I also sent them a text message and wrote my name to know that it was mine. The texts come in through a computer program, so my number isn't on their phones. And it didn't show up in the computer program either. You can add pictures to text messages if you want, but that's not the only reason CrimeStoppers likes them.
The texting and the email has the advantage of being able to converse back and forth with the call, where the calling doesn't.
And that's all done through the computer system. CrimeStoppers began in the capital area in 1982, and Stone says not once has someone's identity been leaked. Protecting the names of callers is just as important as solving the crime.
All it takes is one time for someone's identity to get released through the program, and we got 30 years of an untarnished program going down the drain.
In Baton Rouge, David Lippman, NBC 33 News.
Crime scene tape, even gloves, are still just outside the Butler Community Center. That's where police said a triple shooting investigation led them to. The shooting happened just up the street. The Butler Center, like several other community centers in the city, are meant to help young people with questions. and to keep them away from violence. That's why.
Was a little heartbreaking.
Shirley Lolis is the executive director of Metro Health. It's inside the Butler Center. She said what happened last night was a big step in the wrong direction, especially for that part of the city. But she said it won't stop her or the people inside the center from helping others, from following the lead of whatever happened Thursday night.
This is a place where we serve people. We are committed to doing whatever it takes to help our community become strong.
Police said they're not sure what led up to the shooting or who the shooter is. The two victims who are expected to survive are 47 and 18 years old, but a 29-year-old, Christopher Fountain, died Friday morning.
They've taken it to another level, and this level is final.
Now, Lolis says the role of the Butler Center is more important than ever. So she, along with others that work there, said they're ready to do whatever they need to do to prevent something like this from happening again.
We have to do more. I don't know what that more is. So we're willing and open, to talk about it.
How much good can $1.5 million do? Law enforcement officials hope it can help fix a crime problem that has turned the 70805 zip code into the most dangerous part of the capital city. The program helped reduce Milwaukee's murder rate by 40% between 2005 and 2009, but isn't making progress here in the capital city.
It's real dangerous. I mean, you walk down the street, you might lose your life. So, ain't no telling what be going on around here.
DeHaven Brown has lived in the area with his 3 kids for more than 2 years. He hasn't seen a dip in the violence, and for that matter, he hasn't even seen any brave officers in his neighborhood.
Just a regular thing. Shooting probably every night, and you call the police, they don't even come out.
The BRAVE program hopes to reduce crime in part by having police officers form bonds with neighborhood residents, the hope being that if something happens, they'll be comfortable enough to let the cops know about it.
You might well trust your neighbors, because you can trust your neighbors better than you can trust the cops sometimes.
People in the area feel it's going to take time to build that bond with law enforcement. Until then, they'll count on the folks they've grown up with and around to keep them safe.
We look out for people, the older folk, because they looked out for us when we was coming up, so it's time to look back out for them.
But Brown isn't waiting for that trust to form with law enforcement or his neighbors. He's planning on leaving the 70805 and moving back to St. Charles Parish, where he grew up, and where he feels he and his family will be safe. In Baton Rouge, Brooks Fowler, NBC 33 News.